Hey friends, welcome. It's so great to be here with you. I am super stoked to teach you 6 different ways to shape and color the garden lily. And I have a sneaking suspicion that if you are here watching with me today, you are super stoked and excited too. Now, I have been watching your comments. I love when you engage, interact, and comment on the screen. We are live so I can see you, which is amazing. I know so many of you have been saying that you have icy cold winter weather, so it's a great day to just kind of bundle up and have maybe your favorite beverage, your favorite snack, and really learn some beautiful creative tips and techniques that will really take your card making, your flower making to the next level. And I cannot wait to share these tips and techniques with you. If you would do me a favor and just like in the comments, tell me why you are excited to take this class. And if this is your very first time taking an online class with us, I just want to extend a very special welcome to you. If you and I have not met, my name is Emma Lou with Heartfelt Creations, and it is an honor and a privilege to be with you today. If you are a returning crafter and you've taken many of our online classes, welcome. I'm so grateful to have you back with us today. And I just also wanted to tell our very first time crafters that are joining us for an online class that we have some top tips for you to make this class even more enjoyable and fun for you. And that is, when you watch this through the very first time, we highly recommend that you just have fun watching. The first time you are learning something new or different, it's kind of like hitting your brain, it's like, wait, what did you say? And I am working at a pace that might be a little bit quicker than you are working in your craft room. So we highly recommend that you just watch the first time through, and then once you've watched it through, you can go back, you can rewatch it as many times as you wished if you've purchased the class or while you are an insider member. So what you can do then is when you are creating what I am showing you, you can pause the video, do the step I said, and then continue on. And that will allow you to go at a pace that is fun, creative, and relaxing for you, and at a pace that you learn best. If this is your first time watching as well, I just wanted to say it's kind of like typing in a destination to Google Maps. You have never been to this destination, you might get lost easily, but you know that as you type in that destination, if you just follow those step-by-steps, you will eventually arrive. And that's the beauty of the online classes. So I just congratulate you for being here, for signing up for this class. I cannot wait. And we're gonna have so much fun learning together. In the next 2-ish hours, we're just gonna go at a relaxed pace, and I do also like to go at a pace that, for those of you that are a little bit quicker, that it's kind of a middle balance, right? So you can go back and pause me as needed once this airing has completed. So before we get started, just want to do a shout out to those of you that are watching. One of you said something about 74 degrees in Georgia. Margaret, I think we should come to where you're at. Hi, Elizabeth from Idaho. Chris was saying hello to Tina. I guess Tina's here for her very first class. Welcome, Tina. Deborah, it's great to see you again. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Christine from Washington. Catherine from sunny California. We did have sunshine here this morning too. My 3-year-old was like, Mommy, the sun's shining. I'm like, yes, babe, it is. We've got snow and sun. It's going to be a great day. Miriam from Fabulous, you said good morning from fabulous Las Vegas. So wonderful. We're glad you're here. Juanita from Maryland. It's great to see you again. Okay, so are you ready to get a close-up look at these 6 amazing, beautiful flower bouquets that I have in front of me? So we're going to take a quick look at the very first floral we're going to be creating today. Isn't this just exquisite? Like, the garden lily is super stunning, and I love how one of you just said, I really love how the versatility, the elegance, and beauty of this, and how you can use it so many different ways. And today, that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to pair it with different color combinations. This is actually 3 color combinations on this one. This is going to be the very first flower that we will be creating together. And then we're just going to go down the line. I have many more that we'll show you. And this is live, so as we go through, no question, You can ask all the questions. No question is stupid in class. That's the way we learn. Hello, Shannon from Maine. Hi, Eldine from Utah. Elizabeth said, excited for every class. So much information, inspiration. These classes are priceless, well taught, easy to follow, and just plain amazing. Thank you, friend. I love you. That's awesome. I am grateful that you get so much out of these. Barbara from Arkansas. Okay. So with these, the way we're going to go through today is I am going to share the tips and techniques on how to create each individual flower from the bunch and the clusters that we're creating today. At the very end, the very last thing you and I are going to learn together is how to take the individual flowers you create and make this beautiful bouquet. Now, whether you choose to make a bouquet like this or not is totally up to you. This is for, if you want to do something more like with altered art, stick it in a little vase. It's super pretty. The good news is they will not wither and die, which is amazing. That always makes me sad. I mean, Valentine's Day is just right around the corner, and oftentimes when you have those flowers, I'm like, oh, they're so pretty, and then, a couple days later, they're gone. So these won't do that. So we're going to go through the steps of how to create a finished bouquet at the very end. So first of all, we're going to go through and show you how to do, 6 different ways with this. And there's probably going to be bonus tips and techniques. The more you interact, the more questions you ask, the more you share draws things out of me that I just, have that aha moment as well, or I might jolt my memory to something else. So we are going to have a lot of fun together. Juanita said you just received your lily collection. I am so excited for you. Cynthia said you love the buds and curly wire on the first example. Makes it more realistic, right? That's so pretty. Oh, it is such a beautiful finishing touch on the top. Hi, Rachel from New Zealand. I have a sneaking feeling you are up before breakfast. Thank you for being live. That's some serious commitment. So I'm going to take a quick look at all the different flowers we're going to be creating together. This is flower number 2, a palette of yellow with some peachy tinges on the edges. And then we're going to dive right into vellum. Super, super stunning with many different color combinations you can layer together with this. And then we go into another floral that is shaped beautifully with some fun pinks and a little bit of other colors blended in with that. Then we'll jump into another floral with vellum. So we have 2 different bouquets of vellum in front of me today. And then we are going to have this flower, which has a very unique shaping technique with it as well. So we're going to have some fun learning how to create these beauties, and I would like to know who is ready. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and get started with our very first calla lilies, not calla lilies. Why did I say calla lilies? I don't know, garden lily. Lilies are beautiful. There's so many different variations of lilies. And they are absolutely stunning. Deborah said you love how you teach to make these paper flowers look so real. And, today we're just doing more of, this bouquet style. But you can take any of the flowers we are creating with today, and you can use them on your cards. So you can just make a bunch of the colors that are your favorites or the shaping technique that's your favorite, and just have fun layering it on cards, whether you do just a couple. Here's another one on another card, utilizing 2 of the flowers from this bouquet. So how you choose to end and create with them is totally up to you. But I think all in all, you're going to have so much fun learning and really maximizing the versatility of this flower so you can really use it all year round. So we're going to start out with the garden lily die, stamp, and shaping mold. If you don't have these yet, or the products that we're using in class are right underneath the screen in case you missed something. Hello, Martha from Oregon. We are so grateful to have you with us today. So for these flowers, the majority of the flowers in this bouquet, you are using 2 of the same size. So when you look at your garden lily, there's going to be 3 sizes. So you've got the largest one, then you've got this size and this one. So you've got 3 sizes, okay? So when I refer to the sizes today, I'll probably just reference it to large, medium, and small to keep it very simple, and we'll probably feel like we're going through the drive-through and ordering like some fries or something like that by the time we get done, depending on how often I say I'd like a large, medium, or small, right? So in this bouquet, you can cluster together the sizes that you feel fit with the bouquet you are creating. But you'll see that we have 3 large doubles, and then we have 2 mediums, and then we have 1 small. And then we also used 1 small for 3 of these flower buds, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a large one together, and then I'm also gonna show you how to make this flower bud up here. Does that sound like a plan? Okay, hi Janie from Chile, Montana. So when you color this flower, we are going to go ahead and color the front first, and anytime we are coloring today, I would highly recommend that you flip it to the back and also color the back. So in case I missed telling you that, I just want to tell you that from the get-go. I do like to color all the flowers from the back because we will have some of those petals flipped and we'll have them showing. So it's great to do that. The vellum is not as picky, but the cardstock ones are. So we're going to get started using the Sunflower archival ink, and we're going to blend some of that color right in the center. And oops, I did not grab, I just started off using the wrong sponge dauber. Okay, well that's okay. We're just gonna go ahead. I need to look where I thought I had all my sponges so neatly lined up, and I just grabbed without looking. So we're just gonna go right over that, and we'll put that on the bottom layer. It's a-okay. Hey, that's the beauty of live as well. You'll see when I goof up, and you'll also see what I do to fix it. So So don't be too hard on yourself when you're creating. It's supposed to be fun. And when you do something that you deem is not what you were going to do or a mistake, there's always a solution and how you can fix it and all that good stuff, right? Okay, so we're just gonna go back in with the Rose Madder Pink, and we're going to kind of blend that in on the top half of the petals. And you can really control how much color you want. I'm just gonna blend this color in a little bit more since we will have just a little bit different look on that petal. And you'll see how that actually looks a little bit more kind of a yellow-orange with the color I had hit with my sponge dauber. Okay. Hi June from Illinois. You said you're excited. You just received your class materials last night just in time for today. How exciting. But I would definitely recommend when you are preparing for this class, we have a PDF there's a link right underneath the screen if you missed it in your emails, but it will tell you like how many flowers to cut out and which colors to stamp them in. But what I would recommend is just go ahead and stamp a bunch with the colors that are your favorite, and then you have a lot of flowers that you're creating, and as you're doing one, anytime you're doing the first one, it might feel a little bit more I don't know, maybe a little bit more awkward, but as you get into kind of learning the skill of the flower you're creating, it goes smoother, and your 10th flower won't feel or even look like your first flower. So I always like to have quite a lot of flowers stamped and die cut out so that I can just practice, and just have fun creating with it. Rachel said, hey, great question, Rachel. You said, what color did we stamp these with? We stamped these with the Rose Madder that I was coloring with for the pink that is in between here. Okay, thank you for catching that. Okay, so once you have these colored, just flip it around and color the back as well. You can choose what you want to do on the back for these. I did the Rose Madder, and when you do the backs, I do like to go gentle around the edges so that it doesn't just cut into my sponge dauber too much. Because you do have kind of like a rough die cut edge on the back, so just kind of be careful with that. And if you do kind of have the dauber kind of shred a little bit, you can always give it a little haircut and trim it up. So that's what I do with mine. Okay, so here we go. Now as we go through, when you have that aha moment or you have a tip that you want to share, go for it. We'd love to have you just have some fun as we go along and learn together. So the very first thing I am going to do is I am going to put this in my shaping mold. When you are putting yours in your shaping mold, you are going to be able to put them stamped side up or down depending on what you're creating. Today I'm going to do multiple layers with this one. So we have the large size. And we're going to just lay another layer right on top. And we'll run this through our shaping mold first. And then we have one little one. This one is for our flower bud. This is for the 2 largest ones. I'm just going to do a little mist. You see how that flower is already kind of curling up with the reaction to the water. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and flip this plate on. If you haven't created this leaf yet, super, super beautiful detail when you shape that leaf in there. You literally do not have to do anything else with it. The leaf is absolutely magnificent. I love the detail of this leaf. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and pop this in, run this through the machine, and bring that back out. Oops. There we go. Okay. So the beauty of the shaping mold is this. If you want to keep it super basic, you can just shape these lilies in your shaping mold and you do not have to do anything else. Like what I'm teaching you in class are just some additional like hand shaping techniques after they come out of your mold. So just keep that in mind when you are in your craft room, because the mold does a very beautiful shaped effect as well. So you can always go back and you can just use it like this. Today I am going to add just a little bit of extra texture using the Golf Shaping Tool. And I'm going to see if we can get a close-up look of this in case you've never used this tool before, because I was confused at what this was the first time. I was like, what are people saying about this Golf Shaping Tool? It sounds like something that should be in the golf course, not in a craft room, right? So it does look kind of like a golf, tool. And I don't know that much about golf. I just know that's kind of how it looks from what I see. And then there's this groove. I feel like it's a little bit hard to see, but there's this grooves, really tight grooves in the handle. So what I want you to do is just take that handle of the groove tool, and I want you to go like one time down the middle, okay? And what it's going to do, and if your flower is super wet, it might crinkle it a little bit extra. If you don't want that, just kind of fluff it back out again. Because for this flower, we're looking for a little bit more of a smoother line across the edge, or around the edge, but I will straighten that out because my flower is pretty wet right now. So just give that like one stripe down the center, and I'm hoping, oh gosh, that's a little bit difficult to see. So I'm just gonna hold it here, and we're gonna do a close up. So here's how it looks in the front, and then you've got, it's hard to see the back, there's these stripes. So hopefully when you're trying this, if you do that technique, you'll have that aha moment. You'll be like, oh yeah, that's what she was showing. So do that on each one. So just kind of right in the center of that petal. Just press down. The harder you press, the more that is going to kind of curl up and follow you. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. What color is in the center of yellow? That is the Sunflower Archival ink. And Belinda, you said, do the shaping molds work with a Spellbinder machine? Yes, they do. If you have the machines, I don't know which machine you do because I think they have one that doesn't, but you want a machine that has an opening that has like at least, is it 3/4 inch thick? Is that right, Kathy? I sometimes forget she gave me the thumbs up, yes. 3/4 inch thick. Sometimes I'm like, is it 1 inch? No, it's 3/4 inches. So if you have a specific question about that, let us know and we can give you a mold compatibility list as well. Okay, so for your flower buds, which is what we're going to be creating with this as well, with a small one, we are going to do the exact same thing, but we are really going to focus on that petal really coming up, okay? You see how that comes up? So I'm giving that quite a bit of pressure, and that will give us a great base to work off of, and we'll make that curls around very well. So I'm just going to lay this one down a little bit. And then I'm going to take these and just kind of curl that back. Just make sure that those petals have a nice lift in there. Okay. Miriam, you said, which size tool are you using? This is more the medium. There is a small one if you had gotten the set. There's a really teeny tiny one, so this is like one of the middle sizes. You can also, we might use this one today too. This is just the biggest one in there. It doesn't have a paper piercing tip on it, on another one. So we'll see where we land with that today. Okay, so we're going to take this and bring in our piercing mat from the Deluxe Flower Shaping Kit. We're going to use our paper piercer, pop a hole down the center. And I do like to bring this up far enough so that I have a great large hole in there. And one thing that's wonderful about this garden lily is the fact that you're going to be able to put in a bunch of stamens. And you can even coordinate like different size stamens if you want to do a couple of the really petite ones that were launched with this, or you could also pair some larger ones that came out with the pastel pollen stamens of a previous calla lily, and that's how that will look if you kind of, you know, do an assortment if you want to have some extra detail in your flower centers. And then for the flower bud, you'll have the stamp side facing your table away from you, and you're just going to go ahead and again just pop a hole in the center, and then that is ready for your flower bud. And you can start to see that just kind of like cupped right around that paper piercer. Isn't that super cool? Love, love that. One of you said you switched to your laptop for a closer watch. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and put these flowers together. And then we're going to add the stamens. I think we're having just a little bit of technical difficulties with our one camera, so I'm going to just hold out a little bit before we switch screens to add that in. Okay, I got the thumbs up again. Okay. The joys of behind the scenes, we've got like some silent like code words of like thumbs up, different things, so that's how we talk. Okay, so we're going to catch a clump of the beautiful stamens. You can choose as many as you want. You can mix and match. And you can, this one, let's see, I'm going to do 5 on this. I like to use an odd amount, so it doesn't really matter how many you do for yours, and you might want to do more for large flowers, less for small flowers, but I do like to use an odd amount when I am doing it. So we're going to go ahead and bring all these little wires together and ta-da! Bring this in to, I don't go all the way up to the top, and here's a tip too. If you want to have these colored, like you see the white in the center, if you want to have that color green or something so it looks more like a stem, you can do that before, and I'll try to remember to do that on a different flower so that if you haven't seen that before, you get to see that in action today. So just give a little bit of glue around those edges. Oops, my hot glue gun just went flying. Okay, so we're just going to kind of hold that a little bit, and then I'm going to flip this and pop the second layer on and bring that through the hole. I should have made my hole just a little bit bigger, which would have happened by just pushing it up on the paper piercing tool just a little bit further. So we're just going to go ahead, and I like to hold this upside down so the glue does not accidentally leak on my, or drip onto my fingers. If I all of a sudden, ouch, you know what happened? Okay, so you have that upside down, you have your flower alternated from the top one, and if you wanted to have it more closed, you would just pull this up and reinforce it with more glue. Now, one of the things we try to do a lot is you will see on the back of these flowers, there is a green flower that just kind of gives the illusion of a little green leaf behind it. And that is using the smallest lily in the set and just stamping it in the leaf green and coloring it in leaf green. And when you put that on the back of the flower, it just kind of gives it a little bit of a leafy background that just pulls that all together. So we're just going to go ahead and pop those stamens through the center, bring that up. And before that comes all the way up, I'm just going to go ahead and again add a little bit of glue at the base and offset just those from the last one. And then you'll see them a little bit in the bouquet as we cluster them on. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so our next step, once we have done this, we are going to go ahead and make our flower shaping bud. Now you can go ahead and you can pop anything in the center you want. I'm just taking another wire stamen, and you really won't see it, so you can choose whatever you want to pop through the center. And we're going to go ahead and start to layer a little bit of glue, like right in this, right before it comes up, so it starts to kind of catch
right around that stamen. Now, here's what I want you to see. I am going to take the very base of this flower bud and I am going to crush that base so that it's very pointy. And I'm just going to manipulate that cardstock so that it's squished together so that it is really like meshed as one with that wire stamen that's coming through. And as you do that, you do not want to squeeze the top. If you do that, you're going to flatten your flower bud. That will just kind of leave these on the top. You didn't glue them down, but because of the glue that we put onto that wire, that bottom part just caught it and hung on to that. And as you press that in, that just gave it a great base to hold into. So I just absolutely love how that turned out. And then I'm going to put these two to the side. So that is our very first, this is the first flower, and then here's like a little bonus flower bud that goes with that. And any other flower buds that you see in these clusters that I'm going to be showing as we go down the line, very same thing is what we did with those. And you can do them in your yellow, or you can do them in whatever colors you want. You can do them in the green. So as you can see here, is the same thing. It's just done in green with those. So you get to choose how you want to do that. So we're going to lay these aside, and these are going to be used for the bouquet that we're going to create at the very end and finish it all the way. So the next flowers we're going to create are just stepping you through how to color and shape them. And then at the very end, we are going to go ahead and create this beautiful bouquet. Are you guys like super excited to see how to do it on a bouquet? I'm so excited about that. So we're going to lay this aside, and we're going to go to color number 2, which is your beautiful yellow with hints of kind of like accents of your peach, which I absolutely love. It's a really beautiful color combination, and I just think it just speaks everything spring, right? So with this one, you have, this is one that I created. Now, as you can see, like as we go through, we use lots of different stamen styles, so you can really choose how you want to layer these. These are, the green one is from the pastel pollen stamens, which is the larger ones, and then we layered it with the smaller ones around it. If you don't have the smaller ones that we had launched with this, the rock candy is also a very beautiful stamen that you could pair with those as well. So we're going to go ahead and utilize this one. So let's take a look first at these. So this is another like 2-layer flower, and with these you typically have 2 sizes, okay? So if you start out with the large, you'll put the second size for the center bud. And if you start with the medium size, you'll end up with a small flower bud. So that's how these flowers are done. So you'll see 3 large paired with 3 mediums. And then you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'll have, actually there's another one behind here. Sorry, that one's kind of hiding. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these were all done with a medium flower layered with a small flower in the center. And then there's some flower buds up in here. So there's 2 in there. So you can just kind of have some fun layering those together. But for this specific one, you've got a layer of use your large and medium together, or medium and small together for this technique. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to hold that for a quick second so you can kind of see that up close, and then we're going to get started creating this one. Okay, so for the colors on this one, you'll see that this was stamped in a very pastel yellow color. I mean, it's actually kind of harder to see right here under the studio lights. There we go, we get a close-up look at that, but you can stamp that in sunflower ink. So that is your base ink, and then we're going to go ahead and color it with the sunflower as well. So when you go ahead and color this, I am really focusing in only adding an additional yellow in the center of this flower to really kind of enhance that faded look and really work with the stamped image that is in the background. Now, quick tip, when you are stamping with colored ink and you are also coloring with the same ink that you stamped, you'll want to make sure that you do not blot out the stamped lines. So you'll just want to be a little bit gentle and aware of that if you are doing this. So hopefully that kind of helps you as you are coloring. And you know, if you are new to coloring, you can always practice on, you know, just some cheap cardstock that you are okay if it doesn't turn out okay. You're okay if it doesn't turn out okay. And just color. Oftentimes I like to start out with less pressure, and then you can continue to add more pressure as needed. Our next step is going to be adding, let me just disperse my sponge dauber so I don't get them mixed up accidentally. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of the rose madder around the edges. Now you can pick this up and you can add it like this if you want to, or if you want to get a little bit adventurous, you can lay it down and you can add a little bit more of that color into some of the petals and just kind of blend it out. So what I would recommend for myself, I find it easiest to just kind of go ahead and add some of that color right around the edge, which is your rose madder. And just do it versatilely. Doesn't all need to look the same on every petal. Then I go back and I'll just add a little bit more of that color. And you can do more or less. It really doesn't matter. And you'll see how that starts to kind of give that really nice touch. And if you want more yellow, you can always go back and kind of blend a little bit more yellow in there if you choose to do that. So I am going to, let's see, I'll do yellow on the back. Did I do yellow? Yeah, I did yellow on the back of that one. And if you do, like, say you would do a rose madder on the back, it'll just give a nice pop of pink if somebody sees kind of the back of the flower, which is also totally okay. One of you said this is your favorite flower. You have them growing in front of your door. You love these. Oh, that's amazing. So when do they bloom in California for you? So I know with being in different regions, it makes a difference on when some flowers bloom. Lilies in our area are one of the first spring flowers. So we typically have like the daffodils and the hyacinths. Then, you know, then we have the beautiful lilies. So it's always a reminder that spring is on the way. Okay, so for this one, I am going to just do hand shaping on this one. If you wanted to run it through the mold just to kind of break down the fibers and get that initial shape into the flower, you can totally do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shape the outer flower first, and then we're going to do the inner flower. And you're actually, hang on a second, I already did this one. So this is the outer flower, and then we're going to do the inner flower as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and here we go. You know what? I think let's see here. I think I have the wrong size. I picked out the wrong size for this. I did. Let me grab another flower real quick. Quick. I have two of the same size. It's not what I was going for. Okay. So here we go. I'm just going to do another coloring technique so you get to see this 2 times. Are you up for seeing this 2 times? I'm going to add a little bit more yellow on this one, just all the way up the petal so you can see how it looks if you want more yellow in it. Okay, so we're going to go back and add our rose madder around those petal edges. Sometimes I feel like if you get more yellow in there, it kind of lends a little bit more to having a 3-tone flower when the yellow and the rose madder blend together. Okay, so I'm just going to go back and do a little bit of blending on some of those petals to get a little bit more color in there. We'll do the same thing on this one and the same thing on this one. Fun. Okay, and now we're ready to shape these. I'll just lay this one aside. We're just going to do both of them at one time. Okay, so shaping. You'll want to mist your flowers. It said yours bloom around March and last until June. My neighbors are jealous. That's amazing. That's a great long blooming session. Okay, so I'm going to use the medium of my golf tools, and I'm going to go more right around the edge of this flower because this is going to be the base. So I'm going to go around the edge just 1 time on each edge and just pull that towards the center. And I have this on my deluxe flower shaping mat. So that is the nice cushion that makes that just pop up. Now, like I said, if you have any issues with flower shaping by hand, you can always run these through your mold and do it that way as well. And when you're doing this too, if yours is super wet, you can also kind of give a tap, tap, tap motion. So I'm just going, so this is stamp side up and those petals are coming up. And it's a little bit difficult to see, but it gave a nice creased look all the way around the outer edges. And I'm just going to hold this here to see if we can get a close up look. And yes, there you can kind of see those beautiful kind of crinkled edges. Maybe you can see it a little bit better on that one right there. Okay, so one of you said that we use Distress Oxide on the paper. Yes, you can try that out and see how you like it with papers. I'm not as familiar with Distress Oxide, so my philosophy is always, try it out, see if you like it. If you don't, you can always switch as well. So yes, one of you said, can you please color the stamen? Yes, I will do that. Okay, I will try and remember it with this one. If I forget, just remind me again. Because sometimes my brain is going like goes off on a crafting bunny trail when I'm teaching. Does that happen to you too? Okay, so this is your flower bud, and when you look at these, your place that you colored, or your stamped image is going to be on the outside. So this time we're going to have stamp side down, and we're going to do it on the opposite side, which is a reminder that I did not color on the back on that one. So we're going to go ahead and do that before we shape it. So the back, the unstamped side is going to be facing up for this one. And you're actually doing something similar to creating a flower bud, except for this one, I am focusing more and going right down the center at the tip. The first flower, we started more kind of like right here and went down. But this one, you'll start at the tip and you can go all the way down. So, and you'll see that that gives kind of a nice crease in that petal tip, okay? So that's what you're looking for. So I'll do that on each one. And if it's super wet like mine is right now, just kind of do a tap, 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 pull, tap, pull. And I'm just going to do that a little bit more on this one so it looks more similar to those. I'll just press down a little bit in the center. Now, when you look at these, you'll see that these petals are also tipped down. So what you can do is you can just go back and you can just kind of have those petals from the bottom, just kind of tip them out like that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and pop our holes into these. So again, this one has the stamp side on the outside, very similar to the flower buds. It really reminds me of the technique of the flower buds. However, you are just, how do you say it? Like, you are not closing it as closely. So it's like more like an open flower bud, if that makes sense. Okay. Yes, that's a great tip, Belinda, the oxides with the water. It will alter if you spray it with water. But sometimes, if you like the water effect, just kind of depends on the look that you're going for. Okay, so I am going to grab some of my pastel pollen stamens, and I'm actually going to go with a little bit different color. I'm going to go with the peach one because we have a little bit of peach. I'm going to do this one. I feel like this one would be really fun. This is from the larger ones. I feel like this makes me want like an orange crushed candy of some kind. It's so pretty. It has a bright orange sparkle. Right, it's a nice kind of peachish coral color. And we are going to frame it with some of these. And you can kind of see the difference. Okay, yay, I remembered to color these stems. So what you want to do, if you want to color your wire, is just lay them on your ink pad. I'm going to just bunch them together. Sometimes this works great. Sometimes it works better to just do it individually. So you can try it out. Just make sure that your sponge dauber is well inked. And just lay that on your ink pad. And then just don't be afraid to move it around. Don't try to dip your stamen tips into the ink. I was not really paying attention to that, but it looks like they're okay. So that gives you a green kind of hinge in there if you want to have that look like the green stem. Okay, so there's a quick little tip for you there, and then just line those up. And I do like to have my stamens kind of spread out a little bit so that when that goes through, I need to pop a larger hole in here. So if you notice that your hole is not as large as you want, just pop that back into your paper piercer and just bring it further up your paper piercer and you'll be all good. So you can always redo that. I prefer to do that versus trying to force it with the stamens because there are uneven tips down here and that just makes that sometimes it can tear more easily if you're trying to force it. However, you can always glue a petal back on if you do have an accident and it tears it, which might happen today. It's not the end of the world. It's just something that can happen. So we're just going to go ahead and I like to kind of pull those stamens out how I want them. And then this is where we start adding our glue. So I hold those stamens at the level that I want. If you're wanting to do these for mailing, you can always alter them so that they are laying a little bit flatter, and then use an inside center that will lay flat for you as well, like prills or something like that. So, and then you would just glue these instead of using a wire stamen through the center. So that's the beauty of versatility with the flowers, is you get to do that. Winelda, you said great tip. I never thought of inking the stems. That's one thing that I love about the online classes is they're just more in depth. You know, we have 2-ish hours together, and you know, there's lots that you ask me, and then also things that I think about as well. Sometimes the 15-20 minute ones, we do those, and there's like, oh shoot, I could have said this too, right? So you guys draw a lot out of me when we are doing these classes together, and I can see your comments. Okay, so we're going to bring this one in and just pop that up against those petals. And if you want to have it come up a little bit more, you can do that. And just kind of offset those petals. And if you want to have this one folded down a little bit more, you can then tweak it down. I like to have them at kind of different heights, like you'll see in the bouquet. Here's the thing. I would just make your flowers to where they look, you know, something similar to this. And then when you put them onto your bouquet or into your card, what you can do then is you'll see that like this one has more petals sticking straight up, and then this one comes down. So if you wanted to, you know, if you're in your bouquet and this one's sticking up like those, all you have to do is just take that petal and your gold shaping tool or even the tip of something else and just pull that down and just give it a kind of a rolling that down, which is really great. So yes. So with this one, we are going to go ahead and switch gears to our third flower. Tell me what you loved about this one, what you learned from it, and which color is your favorite as we go through. I love hearing your thoughts on what's your favorite and even why, what you love about it. The next one that we are creating together today is our vellum done with the white embossing powder and white ink. Now, here's where I'm going to just pause a little bit to talk about the vellum. If you are a crafter and you have issues with your vellum cracking, with your stamped images cracking off your vellum, it usually is an indication that what you are using to stamp on it is probably the issue or the embossing powder. So we have a white ink and a white embossing powder that is like, goes together like bread and butter. It works amazing and it sticks very well. The flaking and cracking is super minimal. So if you have issues with that, let us know in the comments. And I believe those white ink and embossing powder is linked right underneath the screen in case you need those. The vellum that I'm using today is a little bit thicker than some vellums. It's a 180 GSM. It is absolutely stunning to make beautiful vellum florals, but also to have some durability with it too. So super, super pretty. This flower is very easy to do. We're going to run this one through the shaping mold. The next one with vellum, I'm going to show you a hand shaping technique, and then you can choose and kind of like, you know, have some fun with it and see which you like the best. So this one you can choose to color on the front or back. The main difference is this. If you color it on the front, you'll have a brighter pop of color. If you flip it around and you color it on the back, you're going to have a lighter color. And that's a little bit difficult to pick up on camera. So we're just going to have you test that out at home in how you like to do yours. But I am using the leaf green today. And that just is taking the tip of my sponge dauber, really following the detail of the center of that flower, and we go about halfway up the petal. There is something super stunning about just a very like elegant floral with a tinge of green coming up from the center, paired with the vellum and the white, and then just adding some really striking stamens in the center. I feel like it just really adds such a beauty and a delicacy, and it is super, super simple to do. It's easy to add to cards, and especially if you want to do a card that has dimension, but you want to mail it. Like these are beautiful. I would just put prills in the center, do this, and you have a really beautiful flower as well. So for this flower, you'll notice that we, for the vellum ones, we use 3 of the same size. So you're not limited to how many layers you can put on top of each other. So it doesn't look like a lily anymore. It looks just like a unique wildflower. So Deborah, you said you're glad you bought the vellum pack. It is different, right? I know, you never really realize how different it is until you start using it. Tina, you said you did with the white, but not the gold. I'm not sure if I'm following you. We are doing some gold embossing powder. We use gold Encore ink with gold embossing powder. So the key is using really sticky ink. I know a lot of people, if they're having issues, they're just using like Versamark ink. And Versamark ink is just not sticky enough with vellum. There's something about it that just doesn't work quite as well. Okay, so with this one, 3 of the same size when you're pairing these flowers together. And for this one, we have 4 large ones. They all have a set of 3. And then we have 2 of the medium ones in sets of 3. And then we've got some small flower buds up here. Okay, so you've got 4 of your large, 2 mediums, and those are all in sets of 3. And then you've got 2 of the vellum flower buds, and those are, you could do small or medium on these. It just depends on the size flower bud you want to add to your bouquet. Okay, I gotcha, Tina. So with this, all you have to do is just run this through your shaping mold. I am going to pop all 3 on top of each other. Typically when I am doing cardstock, I will just recommend doing 2 layers. But since vellum is so thin, we are going to just go ahead and do all 3 layers at once. But you can experiment at home what you feel comfortable with, because if you have this completely full, it might feel like it's just sliding around for you. If that happens, just don't do as many layers, or if it kind of stands up too much. So when I put this in, I will just kind of hold that down, and we'll put our 2 plates on top, run this through the machine, and that will shape it. And it will give it a little bit more of a textured look with the vellum that is really difficult to do if you just shape it by hand with like a shaping tool. If you do it with shaping tools, typically you're getting more of just a smooth kind of curled look, which we'll do in a little bit as well. So we'll bring this out, and we are going to see how we like these lilies. Now the next question I oftentimes get is, do you spray these? I personally do not spray them. Vellum, I feel like, does not react well to water, so I steer clear of that. However, if you are curious, you can always try it, right, and see what you think. I am going to pop a hole into the center of each one of these, and we'll get started putting these together. Okay. Carolyn, you said you use 4 stamens per flower. I typically like to use an odd amount. For the large ones, I do up to 5 for me personally. Some people like to do more or less. It really kind of depends on what kind of wow factor you're wanting in the center. Like this one, and they're not all the same. So these are, you know, big lilies. Like, so the big lily here, we did 3 of the large pollen stamens and 3 of the small ones. But then in this one, we just did 1 and then bunched some in here. So these have 6 in them. And some of that also has to do with what sizes are paired together. So I typically, like, there's no cut and dry rule with it. So what I typically like to do is I like to basically look at my hand when I'm just, so here I have 1. I'm just going to do 1 in the big one, and I'm going to get 4 small ones, and you can see what you like. And this is just experimenting for you. So I typically kind of look at my cluster and think, okay, does this look like a nice full cluster, or do I want more? So if I wanted more, I would probably add, you know, maybe 2 more of this one in. So just to create some variations with that. So don't be afraid to mix and match and just have some fun with it. Speaking of mix and match, I think we're going to have some fun with it. I'm going to grab in add some white from another stamen set and bring that into the side here. That's the beauty of creativity and when you're live. This is what I do in my craft room. I'm like, you know what? I want to see how these all look. So here you have 3 variations. And you can decide if you like it or you don't. Anne said, I think that looks like a wedding bouquet, right? It does, it does. Great observation. I love that. Okay, this one's split right there. I'm going to wait to see if we have some others that did not split. That can happen when you're running them through the shaping mold on vellum, which is okay. You can just glue those in, and we'll show you how to do that. So with this one, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to bring my hot glue like up a little bit like this. This is kind of like a little thin line going up the vein of the flower a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and just pull that up a little bit like this. And that will grab and just have a little bit of dimension, okay? Carolyn said, very pretty, thank you. You are welcome. Yes, Miriam, you're right. No water on vellum. And one of you said, what is the weight of your vellum sheet? Mine is 180 GSM. Okay, so we are ready for the second layer. So we're going to go for it. Ta-da! I just find that like flower shaping is so relaxing and very therapeutic. So just have fun. Today is really about, you know, sparking your creativity to really kind of open up your imagination on the different ways that you can utilize and create with this. So hopefully that's what this is doing for you. So today we're just showing 6 different ways, but I know that this will spark your creativity, and I can't wait to have you share with us on social media what you create based on what you learned today. So we're just going to offset those petals, and I just hold it a little bit, and then we'll bring that third one in. And since that one is cracked open like this, I will go ahead and put my glue down right away, and then we'll just loop that in from the side, which sometimes I find that that's actually not, makes it kind of easy sometimes if you wait to add that one in at the very end. You'll just bring that across the wires, stamen wires, and ta-da, that one is in place by just offsetting it. So it's super, super simple. So instead of stringing it down from the bottom, you just brought it in at the base. So typically if I split a petal, I just add it in at the bottom if it's one of the big ones. So that is your basics. And then I like to just kind of lay this aside to dry. And the great thing about the wire, if you give it some room up here that's not just pulled straight through, you can kind of bend those little stamens around and move those into different areas. So you can adjust that, and that's the beauty of the wire, okay? So very different looks just based on how you kind of blend. Like this one has a different green in there, so that makes it darker. So you have a dark draws your eye in, makes it have more depth. If you do light, light makes it look more open and airy. So that is really a great depiction of what that will create based on even color combinations that you put in the center. So hopefully that gave you just another little tip. Shirley, you said you love how we're shaping the vellum petals. It is a little different, right? There's just these unique little twists that just make such a difference. And when you step yourself through doing that, it just adds so much beauty and also differentiates it many different ways. It allows you to create different looks. You just saw my water that keeps me hydrated when I'm talking. Okay. So yes, we do have 2 different types of vellum. So when you are shopping, if you catch the one on the link right underneath this screen, is the one called Rajni Chawla's vellum, and it's the 180 GSM. And there are 10 sheets in this pack. So, okay, we are going to switch gears and go to our number 4 flower, which is another beautiful pink. I feel like it kind of matches the flowers on my sweater today. Do you think so too? I don't know which came first, the sweater or the flowers. Okay, probably the sweater. I've had this one for a while. Okay, so this one is another combination of 2 colors of pinks filled in with a little different color in the center here, which is really, really pretty. So with this flower, we are stamping it with magenta hue. And it also has this one would be 2 of the large size and then a medium. And then if you want to do a smaller one, you'd have 2 mediums and 1 small. So in this bouquet, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 big ones. So the big ones again have 2 large and 1 small. And then the next size has 2 mediums and 1 small. And that's the 2 that are sitting in here. And then you've got 1 flower bud up here. Deborah said, I love that color. Yes, this is like stunning. And it's just beautiful how when you blend different colors together, how that really comes together and just creates such a beautiful, beautiful bouquet. So just remember as you are putting these on, if you want to have those extra leafy leafy things, I was going to say leafy things, these little, kind of some people call them calyxes. Just use the smallest lily and pop it on after you've added your flowers. And if you forget to do that, you can always go back later and do it like the lily we just did. Those are underneath there, so it just kind of gives those little touches of green as you flip the bouquet around, which is awesome. Okay, so pulling in this one. Okay, so the 2 big ones are colored a little bit different than the center. You'll see just a tint of your green in here, and then this one is a different coloring combination here, and that really kind of creates a very unique center when you're coloring and layering those together. So many of you are saying, I love the pink, I love the pink. Yes, the pink is so, so pretty. So we're going to do the large one first with coloring, and then we will graduate to the little one. Okay, the large one, we are going to do a little bit of leaf green. You will not see this very much. It's just like there, okay? So we're just going to add a little bit of this right in the center, and just remember this was stamped with magenta hue. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that to each one of these on the large ones, or the ones that are going to be your base flowers. And then you're going to go back and you're going to add a little bit of that magenta hue. Magenta, did I grab the right dauber? No, I did not. Here we go. Here we go, here we go. Okay, so magenta hue. So we're going to bring in that color and just lay it flat and just blend, blend, blend. And I loved all the different ways that these pinks are coming together. And if you, like this one, I came in a little bit further, which is kind of going into the green, but if you want to have kind of a white in the center there, you'll see these petals are not all colored the same. So here you'll see you have more of a darker pink, a little bit white in the center. So just kind of play around with it. And I actually feel like it adds more dimension and detail if each petal is a little bit unique on one flower, so they're not all the same. Because as humans, I feel like we sometimes I want every petal to look the same, but if you have it a little bit more random with a little bit of different details, it really helps to kind of make it look very unique. So with this one, we are going to add a little bit of a dark color around the edge using the mulberry. The mulberry is going to give you that dark color right around the edge. You can do just a small, or if you wanted to do a little bit more in some areas, you can do that, right? So that just kind of brings in a darker touch. Oh gosh, I wish you would be looking over my shoulder in the studio here, because I feel like you can see the vibrancy and the color is so much better. But this will do, right? Don't you just love that we can get together and create and learn no matter where we live? Like, that is the beauty of technology, and I absolutely love that. So you are able to watch from the comfort of your own home, or maybe you're watching on your cell phone while you're at an appointment, which is amazing. Okay, so there you've got your base, and I'm going to, this one I did on the back with the magenta hue, and we're going to just go ahead and do this one as well. For our flower bud, we're going to have the stamp side out like we did on the others. So this is also a variation that I find is pretty similar to the yellow flower we did on the center, with the exception of a little bit of a different shaping technique. So this is your coloring, so we're going to go ahead and layer those then together. Now for this center flower, you'll see that there's more of a yellowish sheen coming up there, and then followed by your pinks, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of that yellow, And I am going to add a pretty generous amount of the yellow so that the pink is blending into that, and it'll give it a little bit of a unique color as it blends into the yellow. Okay, so we are also going to go around and on the back do kind of a similar shading technique, so that when you look down from the center, when you look at those those stamen petals, you'll kind of see that gradient of pinks in there as well. Does that make sense? Did I lose anybody? One of you said, I agree, random color shading. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of the rose madder. Rose madder and magenta hue are two different colors of pink. One is a little bit more of what I call a coralish pink, and the other one's a little bit more of a, it's magenta, like it's a more of a magenta color. So I need to trim my little dauber a little bit so it blends well. This is how I just do that in case you want to see a little haircut. Oops, there we go. If you need to do that on your daubers, just kind of do it very lightly. Okay, there we go. We're just going to give that a nice smooth shaded look with this pink. And then you can blend the other colors of magenta hue in and add a little bit of mulberry if you want. So here we are layering quite a lot of color to this, okay? So we're just going to go ahead and layer some of that magenta. And I'm just going to add that a little bit more randomly so that we have a kind of a unique look on the different petals. And then you can again go back with the mulberry and add a little bit of the mulberry in there. So we'll just, I might pick this up a little bit so I can get some really great kind of dark mulberry in the center, around the edges. Oops, there I did quite a lot, so I'm just going to blend that in. So that petal will look a little bit different, which is totally okay. That will give it some uniqueness. I'm going to do that around the outer edges, and then we'll bring in the other pink to fill in the center there. So tell me what you're loving so far. Leslie, you said something about that was a pro tip. Can you let me know what was a pro tip? I know that sometimes by the time I say something, you hear it and something's typed. I missed the memo on that. Joyce said you are enjoying watching today, so relaxing. Thankful I can go back and rewatch as I make these gorgeous flowers. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I'm going in the center with the rose madder and just adding that color in there. And then you kind of have a beautiful background that is also very nicely shaded for your flower bud. And if you don't want to do that, like you don't have to, you can just do a solid color. It's totally up to you. But I wanted to show you that in case you want to blend the back as well. Okay, so for shaping with this one. These, do you see how these petals are going in the different directions? So these are flipped backwards and these are flipped up. So what I want you to do is when you run these through the shaping mold, you're going to have two petals that are pushed out. So what I mean by that is two petals are going to have the stamp side on this side of the curve, and then one petal is going to have the stamp side on this side of the curve, if that makes sense. I'm using my fingers because I'm like, it's a little bit hard to see here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this, and for these small, make sure I have the right side of my shaping mold here. Okay, so for this small, you're going to go ahead and put that one in, just stamp side down. And that one, you don't have to do anything different with it. It's the big one. So the big one, we have two petals that are flipped out. So we're going to have this one stamp side down as well. Is that right? Yes, yes, that's right. Sometimes I have to think a little bit because it's going the opposite direction than what I want it to. And sometimes I can be a little bit directionally challenged. Okay. Kathy said, I'm excited to try the vellum flowers after watching you. Gives me the courage to try. You know what? I hear that a lot where, you know, crafters are a little bit intimidated with vellum, all the things. But once you have, once you've used it and you get familiar with it, like it really takes the intimidation out of it. And you're just like, oh my gosh, where has this been all my life? Because it's so simple to create these elegant, exquisite flowers. Okay, so we're going to bring these out, and do a little bit of manual shaping with it, and then we'll be good to go. So what I want you to do with this one, so remember we had 2 petals that are flipped out like this, and then this one's going to go the opposite direction. So what you're going to do with that is you're just going to go ahead and take your this little golf shaping tool, and you're just going to press down in the middle and bring that petal up the other direction. And if you want to flip this around and give these flowers kind of the same internal kind of golf shaping technique with those extra creases, you can do that. So here you have one petal coming up on this side, and the other ones are flipped down. For the flower bud, you do not have to do anything more to it. All you have to do is just pop a hole right into the center, and you're good to go. Now, before we go any further, I did want to tell you that as a thank you for participating in today's class, you get a free shaping mold with a $50 purchase. So, if there have been some shaping molds on your wish list, now's the time to get it. You get it free with a $50 purchase. If you're one of our U.S. crafting friends, you get free shipping on any order size. And if you're one of our international crafting friends, you save 20% on your shipping discount. And that code, you've got to have the code. Is that an 8? Yes, it's 814765, and it expires on February 4th. So make sure you take advantage of that. Okay. Are you ready to see the rest of this? So we're going to go ahead. We've got this one coming up for our flower bud. This one's going to be more open. So we had like the tight, kind of more closed, a little bit more open. And then I feel like this is probably about the most open. And if you want to have it just have a little bit more curl, you can always go in from the top and just flick those petals just a little bit more like that. Okay, super simple. If you wanted to add that little touch to it, you can. And then we're going to add the little paper piercing. Whoop, we ran off the side there, so we'll put that aside. We'll put that on the bottom. And sometimes I get so excited. Oh, I see what you said about the trimming the dowels, Leslie. Thank you. Okay. Ta-da. So, one of you said you sometimes have difficulties lining up the molds and my flowers shift. Oh, okay. Let's talk about that the next time we run flowers through the shaping mold. So actually, you know what? I don't think we are going to be shaping more flowers through the mold. So I'm going to show you right now while I think about it, because I do not want to miss that for you. Thank you for asking. Okay, shaping mold, put your flowers in. And then what I want you to do is just with one hand, hold this hand steady. And you'll make sure your lid is turned the right way. Just pop it on top. And then without moving the bottom, just press these two together. And when, like right now, when you're moving this to the machine, you've got to keep it clamped together. And one of the ways I do that very easily is go like this. Put your shaping mold, again, I'm clamping this on with my left hand. Slide your plate underneath. This is still clamped very well. Put your other plate on top, and you've got a sandwich. It's kind of like holding on to your sandwich. You don't want the insides to fall out. That's what I keep in mind. So this is kind of like your bread with this as being the internal. So that's how I do mine. Hopefully that helps you and gives you some tips. So with the free shaping mold with a $50 purchase, you enter code 814765. Okay, hopefully that was helpful to keep your flowers in line when they are getting ready to be shaped. Okay, I think we are ready to run this through our with our stamens. Okay, so with this one, you can again cluster it however you want. I am going to grab another green one of this, which is the pollen stamens, and we are going to take, actually I have some clusters out here, let's use these. I'm going to take one of these away. So I have 4, and then I have one of the green ones in the center. And we're going to pop this through our flower bud first. Tell me what you've loved so far about what you've learned. We are on flower number 4, and we're getting closer and closer to the part where we're going to be learning how to put the flowers together on a stem, which is going to be really fun. I feel like some of you are going to just really learn a lot with that and have some fun creating some altered bouquets. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to pull this down just a little bit further pop some of those in so you can really kind of manipulate this and then bring in your glue. And I just keep a tight hand on this one with my stems so they don't just wiggle all over. So we're just going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue to just start kind of bonding that, and then I will pull this up. And I'm not too concerned about how open this is right now, because once those base flowers come in, you can always go back and you can kind of pull it up a little bit further if you want to. You're welcome, Urina. Okay, Tina, you said you love all the different shaping ideas. You're my kind of girl. Like, I'm a sucker for like so many different shaping ways you can shape something. It's like, it is my cup of tea. Like, I love that. Okay, so we're going to go back and we're going to add this flower base in next. And the flower that, so you have some petals going up and down, and that kind of makes it, it's just a beautiful, like, flower that has petals going in different directions. Reminds me more of a wildflower style, and it just adds so much uniqueness to it. And then you can flip this down and just wrap the other one around, since we did tear that, or if yours is not torn, you can go ahead and, okay, let me see, this one, okay, so I do like the petals that are up, to kind of be in the similar section, like that. See that? So these are more up here, and then the flower kind of opens. Oops, sorry guys, off camera a little bit there. There we go. Luz said, I am in for the free mold. I know, as crafters, it's like you've got an ongoing shopping list, and getting a free shaping mold is like the bee's knees. So if you have a mold that you missed, or if you have a flower that you've been eyeballing, this is a great chance to get that. Okay, so that is the simplistic beauty of that one. They'll look, you know, have different types of looks just depending on which way you layer those on your bouquets, how tightly you cluster it together. So like this one, if I wanted to have it closer together, you could always just have this flower kind of, you know, add some more glue and just kind of continue to press it together. So you can have it more open, or you could add more glue to reinforce that to be it more closed. So you get to choose with that. So kind of play around with it. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and do another vellum one. Who is up for another round of vellum? Now I know in the list of recommended supplies, like there's a couple different inks that you can use. I actually am using the manganese blue, which is a little bit different color than what was used on these original flowers. But when you look at it, it's a very, there's not too much of a difference. So you can just have some fun with yours and kind of see what you want to use on yours. So I'm using a gold. On the stamens with this, we're using the manganese blue. We stamped these with gold ink and gold embossing powder. And that is using 2 large ones and then a medium one on top for these. So again, we're using 3 flower layers. And in this bouquet, you'll see that it has 4 of these large ones. That would be 2 large paired with a medium. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of medium and small. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 flower buds. And typically we're using small, but if you wanted to experiment with medium, you could too. So this one, I'm just going to do some shaping by hand using this handy dandy tool. And we're going to take this and we are going to wrap it around our base of our golf tool using that medium tool again. And I have the stamp side up. And I'm literally just wrapping it around, okay? And if it's hard for you to pinch, just wrap it around there. You're kind of getting a nice curved look. Anne said this is stunning with a gold embossing powder. Isn't that amazing? Tina, have a great appointment. We'll catch up with you later. Thank you for being here. Okay, so here we go. So it's a very beautiful tip, and we're going to do another little shaping technique with this. I feel like vellum is very soft, it's very gentle, and then you can go back and you can also do that on some petals if you want to. I don't do it on all of them. I just kind of do it randomly on some just to give a little bit of a different curve so that they're not all you know, going in the same direction. So that is something you can do with yours if you wish to do that. So that last step is just a bonus tip. It's not necessarily something you have to do. Francine said you don't have luck with vellum. If you've tried vellum and you are struggling, you can also connect with us with our customer care team and let us know exactly what you are doing. And even send pictures of what you're doing, and we might be able to troubleshoot that. And you know what, I just realized I jumped ahead of myself. I haven't showed you how to color this one. So it's very similar to how we color the first one. I do color this from the top. You might, if you think it's too bright, you can also color it from the back. But you also just use the very tip of your sponge dauber. I love these. And you can just really go over the stamped design in the center. And that's one thing I really love about our stamped designs is it shows you, it's like there's a cheat sheet on where to shade based on where that stamp detail is. So in case you did not know that, that is a quick little tip for you, which makes it really nice, especially if you're kind of like that, new person that's like, I don't know where to do the darks and the lights and all that stuff. So the areas that there's lots of like stamped lines are typically the areas I like to go a little bit darker on. Okay, so for this one, we're going to have a flower bud. So I'm just manually pulling this up this way with my vellum. And we're going to pop these gold stamens through the center. Ta-da! Linda said all these lilies are just gorgeous, right? Thank you, friend. It's just amazing how many different ways. I don't think I made this hole quite large enough. How many do I have here? I have 5. I have 5. There's one that's like the wild child that does not want to go in. It's like, I am not, okay, let's bring it out, and there we go. That was a lot easier than trying to force them all through at the same time. Okay, I like to leave a long enough stem. I'm going to add a little bit of glue, just kind of going up the side again so that it can easily catch to my stamens. And then we're just going to bring this up, and we're just going to hold it a little bit. And you can also squeeze the vellum a little bit at the base if you want to. And if some of these petals are a little bit wild and they didn't catch the glue and they want to flip out, just kind of flip open, if the petals want to flip out. That's not really what I was meaning to say, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. If they kind of open back up, you can just add a little bit more glue. Which one of these might do that? We'll see. But then we're just going to go back and ta-da! Add a little bit of glue on the base here. Continue to bring this up. And you can pull these petals up. So don't be afraid to pull these petals up and have them do what you want them to do, because they are going to tend to want to lay a little bit more flat because of the nature of vellum and how we shaped them. Suzanne, thank you for that feedback. I've sometimes thought I might be biased, but I think that this vellum is just the best as well. So we try to do our best to find top quality products that work incredibly well. Okay, so we're just going to pull that up. Just give that a little bit of time to dry, and that will just be such a gorgeous, gorgeous flower. Isn't that just stunning? I just think that just... we do not have any purples in front of us today, but I was thinking like some purples, and there's some more color palettes that are not represented today that I think would be really, really pretty. Leslie said, I can't wait to try this. They look magical. Actually, this color reminds me a lot. Thank you for saying that word. It reminds me a lot of the Dragonfly collection. So using this color palette paired with some of the decorative dragonflies, I think would be super, super pretty. Okay. So we're going to lay this one aside to dry, and we are going to do our last but not least flower. And then we're going to make a bouquet, which I'm super excited about. This is super, super stunning too. Isn't it just gorgeous? Okay, so this flower, such a fun shaping technique. We are using 2 of the same sizes for every flower that you see. So when you're layering the 2 largest together, like this bouquet has 4 flowers that are large, so 2 of every one, 2 to each one, and then we've got 4 of the medium, and then we've got some medium flower buds up in here. So that is what's making up this one. Elizabeth, yay, I'm so excited for you to get your next shipment of crafting goodies. How exciting. Okay, so for this one, we are going to go ahead and show you how to shape and how to color and do all that fun stuff. Okay, and then at the end, we're going to vote and see which one you like the best. No, I'm not going to do that because it's hard to pick a favorite. But if you know that like there's a certain one that you're just like, oh my gosh, this is just is me, it speaks to me, let us know in the comments. But this flower, we are going to bring in a color combination that we haven't talked about today yet, which is Tiger Lily. So you can stamp this with Tiger Lily and then again, just go down the centers of this flower with the Tiger Lily. When I'm coloring, I like to have two of the daubers on top of each other. Here's a tip for you. Hold it like a pencil. I have one finger on each part, but I like to have it longer so I can have a better grip on it. And a lot of people I see like will try to put it down the center. That is super uncomfortable, and it's designed to hold like with 3 fingers. Okay, so that makes all the difference in it being very comfortable and easy to color with as you learn how to maneuver it and all that fun stuff. Okay, so we're going to have one more, and then we're going to edge the petal edges with the, you could do rose madder or magenta hue on this. But I'm going to do rose madder that has a little bit more of a coral undertone. The other one has more of a magenta pop of color. So that's what I'm going to do today. So just hold it up and just add that tinge of color around the outer edge. And as always, when you're doing this at home, just make sure that you color the back as well. Yes, you're so right. This definitely does look like a tiger lily. That's what I see too. And I'm like, I love tiger lilies. When I got married, I had some tiger lilies in my bouquet, and I absolutely stinking adore those. Okay, so we are going to do kind of a 2-step. We do need to color the back. I did this one on the back. So we're just going to go ahead and add that color in there real quickly before we shape it. This one I just did some manual shaping with it as well to get the look that you are seeing today. So what we're going to do is we are going to have this stamp side down on our mat, do a little bit of water misting, and we are going to trace all around the outer edges using our medium gulf shaping tool, and we're just going to go ahead and just roll that around the edges. Now this does take some pressure. A quick tip, if you are using these and you feel like it takes a lot of hand strength or it's harder, it's not comfortable in your hand, because that is my pet peeve with these. They do not have the nice, beautiful comfort that these do. So remember in school where we had those squishy little pencil grippers? You can pop one of those on and maybe tape it, because this is a very skinny handle. That's actually what makes it so uncomfortable, is because it's so skinny and it's a little bit interesting to maneuver. But there goes that. So we're going to go ahead and, I just did this one again because it kind of, okay, so with this, what I want you to do is, this is a really cool tip that I love. I want you to take the very tip of your paper piercer, and you're going to lay that about 3/4 of the way up, and you're going to wrap that around that tool and just kind of do a gentle pressure, okay? And you might want to lay this aside to dry then. So you are coming up from the center. Your tip of your paper piercer is facing the tip of your lily. You're doing this at home and you're going the opposite direction. You'll figure it out pretty quickly, because you're like, something does not feel right. And that is how you get that beautiful deep groove in there. Isn't that so fun? One of you said, Leslie said, you like them all, and the tiger lily is just awesome, so vibrant. Yes. And you can even add more color and more pinks around the edges if you want to. So you can go more soft. Sometimes I do soft, sometimes I do more vibrant. Okay, so that's the basics. So I always feel like it looks complicated, but when you break it down, it's like, okay, that is super simple. And all you need to do is just go back, pop your hole in the center of your flower, add your stamens, and ta-da, you are done. Yes, many of you have been commenting about the little curly wires, and you love the interest that those give to the bouquet. I know, it is so, so stunning, and you can keep that in mind when you're doing yours. Okay, so let's bring in some gold. You could do so many different colors with this and different stamen styles with this as well. So we're going to do the gold and bring this in. And I didn't even count this one. I just grabbed a handful. So this one's actually even. It's 6. I typically would go for, I'm going to pull the one out. I want to do 5. Okay, so this one you can adjust the height by bringing it further up to keep it more closed, and you can also keep it more open. So you get to choose how you want to do that, but I find it fun that you can use the same size, and just depending on how you glue that together, you're going to get different kind of looks on how tight it is and all that fun stuff. Now, when I am putting this one together, I do kind of like to squeeze at the base if your hot glue is not too hot, to just kind of give that. I'm going to pull this out a little bit further. I accidentally pulled those stamens in a little bit more. Okay. One of you said, you guys are tempting me every single month with the beautiful creations, and you have to have them all. I'm sure that you have seen the sneak peeks of what's coming in February. Can you believe that we are we are pretty much through the month of January already? Oh my gosh. So I cannot believe that, but yes, we have these ornate peacocks in our warehouse that are just waiting to flutter to their new homes. So I know that there are many crafters that are waiting to adopt those little beauties and make something pretty with them. Okay, so I brought that up, and you can continue to push it together like I showed you on some of the others. And you can make it come more up if you want it closer, or you can have them more open. And if you do variations of that with the one size, when you put it on a bouquet, that looks super, super pretty. Okay, so with this one, there you go. And I know sometimes color, one of you said something about color. You see how it looks kind of light out there? That's just the way the light's hitting it. But when I bring it up into my hands like that, you can see that the true color a little bit more. So sometimes that's a little bit hard to see. So that is the basics of coloring and shaping these 6 different ways. Tell me what you think. We're going to switch gears a little bit, or a lot. I'm going to close my ink pads so I don't accidentally dip my hands and, leave the building today and go out and about and people wonder what the heck I was doing, because oftentimes I forget to wash my hands. I don't know if that happens to you or not, but it sure happens to me. So if people start kind of looking at me oddly and giving me some comments about, say, my makeup or something like that, I'm like, I wonder what's really going on in my face. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to create this lily bouquet together. And the same concept goes for all the other bouquets that I have in front of me today. So just keep that in mind when you are creating with yours at home. There is no right or wrong way to do it. And I always also tell my friends, do just practice, practice, practice. That is what helps you when you are creating with these. And so just keep that in mind when you are making a bouquet like this. So with this one, we are going to use wires, and we're going to just have some fun kind of bringing these in together using our Floris tape. And I have some wires here that I'm going to be using. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, what weight should I use? For this, I go more by feel versus weight, right? So you'll notice like the stamens that we, the stems that we had launched, if you have these, it's just a little bit thicker than these. So if you have a feel of these, you're good. I don't have these, the weight of this anymore, but I feel like these are, is it 18? I might be way off. I'm not super sure, but yeah, so we're going to use these today, and we're also going to use a wire snips. If you don't have a wire snips, you might want to find one because you don't want to ruin your scissors if you are using a stem that is a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, let's measure this so that you have the measurements as well. That will, if I can find a ruler, I do. So for this bouquet, the main stem that's going all the way up the back, that's what I'm measuring. That is about, it's about 8.5 inches. I would make it 9 so you can clip it down if you need to. Or you could also go a little bit longer if you wanted to. So let's do that. Let's clip this to 9 inches. So 9-ish inches. I'll probably go a little bit longer so that I have some leeway with that. And you could also always wait to clip it till the very end if you wanted to. I just didn't want to have a big wire kind of whipping around and, you know, all that type of thing. So what you'll notice is we have one large one on the bottom left, and then we have another large one kind of on the right. And for this first one, we also have the leaves were just stamped in that green and then colored and shaped with the shaping mold. So what I have in front of me today are my leaves that I colored are a little bit more pastel, so you can choose if you want them dark or light. And here's one thing I want to tell you too. If you do not want to fuss with these leaves right away, you can also just come in and glue them to the back of a flower. Like, that is totally an option if you don't feel comfortable putting them in right away. So just kind of think about that as you're doing this. And when I did these wires for these leaves, I literally just clipped some off of these wire stamens. So that's something you can do too if you want to. So we're going to grab one of our large flowers and we're going to bring this in, and we are going to start with some florist wire down in here, and we're going to start by adding them. And let's see, so this length right here is the actual length of my, how do you say it, the stamens, the stamen length, what we were doing today, that's that length. Let me just go back here, and here we go. I'm going to put some florist tape. If you've never done that, I just start at the top and I just hold these upside down and just start twisting, and that will cover those stamen wires that you have coming out of your flower. Just twist it and twist it, twirl it all the way to the end. When you come to the bottom, you can just peel that off and you've got that all twisted, good to go. So that's what you'll want to do to all of your flowers first. Then you can glue one of these leaves to your stamen wire. You can just use the same wire we're using as the base, or you can find something else as well, whichever you want. Now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to bring this wire in, and we're going to start our actual stem base, okay? And I am going to start at the base here. Just kind of twist this around, just get it started. Sometimes when you're doing this, it can feel a little bit backwards, so just give yourself some grace as you are doing this. And it is okay to go back and just rip the florist wire off and restart again. If you need to do that, that is totally okay, and I'll be doing that every once in a while. Especially if I want to start adding another one in, which is right here. So I have started my bouquet. And just remember, these are all wires, so you can pull them out. So I am going to start pulling this out and to the left a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in another large flower that will be sitting more to the right of this one. And you'll see that this one just has a leaf glued behind it. So that's what I'm going to do after I have added this one. So this one is just a little bit higher than the one that we first put on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start my florist wire down here. Now, we could have started this one earlier. I just didn't want to have that much, you know, that I'm, you know, taping together at once. So you go ahead and you start taping as many times as you need to get you going. It doesn't matter how many times you stop and start with this, just have some fun. And hopefully this makes sense as I'm doing this for you. So I'm coming up to this, ta-da, okay, here we go. So this one needs to come over on this side. It's wanting to be on the wrong side. So just pull your wires around if they start to kind of be a little bit tricky. And I'm just going to loop this up a little bit more with my florist wire, and then I'm going to unhinge it. So we have our main stem down here. And if this is your first time doing it, just give yourself lots of grace and have fun with it. It is so much fun to just, create and do something new and different. So I applaud you for doing that today. So here we again have 2 more flowers coming in here. So we have 6 and then the little rosebuds. So we'll go ahead and I kind of pick out the ones that look a little bit larger and smaller. So I'm going to bring this one back in here. And I'm going to have some of my wire kind of extending out the back. And I'm going to clip that off if I need to. Because I'm going to bring these 2 in at the same time. And I'm going to start wrapping that around there. Okay, so I'm going to push this one down just a little bit. And just remember, when you are creating these bouquets, you can really pull those wires back and forth. Actually, Kathy, if you want to pull down the screen a little bit more so I can see the comments as they go through, that would be wonderful. For some reason, it's not auto-scrolling, I think. Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to bring these in at the base there, just add a little bit more florist wire right in this section. I feel like florist tape. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to grab from the back, I'm going to grab this one, and I'm just going to continue to wrap right around this section. So tell me if you have done this before, or if this is your very first time seeing this. And I'm going to pull this a little bit away from my main bouquet so that I can start wrapping it up here. And if you get into, oops, let me just restart this. If you get into a tight spot, you can always, there we go, just pull those wires out, and you can pull off a length of tape and just bring that in so you're not dragging the whole roll around. Does that make sense? Okay, here we go. And as you're doing this, just remember there's many different ways to do it. So if you ever feel yourself kind of floundering a little bit, you can always pause and kind of figure out where you're floundering and then just continue on after that. Okay, so we're going to bring this one in up here, pull this around, bring the stem up the center. So that stem in the center is going to be your base. And you'll probably see that, oh, okay, I want to have more leaves like right in this section if you kind of have an open. So we're going to go ahead and add the other 2 flowers up in here, and then we'll be able to finish it off with our flower buds and all of that fun stuff. And to do that, what I'm going to do with these is I am going to start clustering these all together how it is in the top, and then that will help us to kind of pair it with our other bouquet. If that makes sense, okay? So I'm just bringing all of these in together, and we're going to wrap these, and then we'll pair it on to our main bouquet. So we're just going to bring those up, and ta-da! And you can kind of play around with those a little bit. I'm just going to add a little bit of florist tape right in here. I feel like I'm saying florist wire when I mean florist tape. I'm just start holding those together. And then I'm going to start at the base and wrap these, okay? So this little bouquet is going to get meshed in with the big ones. Okay, ta-ta. This one doesn't want to stick there, okay. Wants to do its own thing. So we'll wrap a little bit up here. I didn't grab it when I was just doing the first one. Okay. I feel like it's like doing a dance, right? When you're going in circles with this. This is where you can say the cat's chasing its tail. Okay. Here we go, here we go. I'm trying to catch this wire that was not caught the first time. And sometimes if you just twist the bouquet here, you'll find that that works really good too. And just twist it up as far as you feel like you need to till that. And you can kind of pull these up again. Like if you see that, oh, I don't like really where that's sticking, you can kind of pull some of those wires out and have it do its thing. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this in here. I'm going to pull the main wire back kind of behind these, and we are going to blend these in. And I think I have another leaf. I'm just going to let's see, I'm going to just glue that leaf in. So if it's easier for you to glue the leaf in, I kind of forgot about it. I should have added it in a little bit earlier if I wanted to do it with the wire, but you can choose however you want to do yours. With this one, as I'm adding it to the main bouquet, I'm just going to rip off a piece of the tape and just wrap it around like that, so I'm not whipping around that entire roll. If that makes sense. Carol asked, will you be getting the petite stamens back in stock? This year, we're actually doing something different when we launch these products. Once they are sold out for good. That helps with inventory control. So these will not, the stamens will not be coming back in stock. So if you need more, I would highly recommend looking at some of the other ones that we've been using today that you can utilize for this lily as well. Okay, so with this one, I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. We've got this one, I'm going to, here is our main stem. I'm just going to clip that one out so you can see it didn't need to be quite as long. So you can easily clip that off, and that will be hiding. And then we can go in and glue the leaves in. Personally, when I'm adding leaves, I like to leave those for last instead of adding them in with the actual wire twisting, so that I can kind of put them in where I feel like they need them. So like for this one, I would add one in here and then some over here as well. So that's what we're gonna do next. I would like to know what you've learned so far about these. Now, if you love those little curlicues that so many of you have been talking about, just grab one of your leftover wires. I'm going to see if I can, no, this is too stiff. You'll want to use a thinner wire statement. So I'm going to use one from the stem that we launched. I'm just going to clip it off of this leaf because we do not need it. I'm just going to glue this leaf in. So what I want you to do is just take your golf shaping tool and start at a large end and just spiral that around, that golf shaping tool. Don't poke yourself while you're doing it. And as you go to the small end of that thing, it'll kind of give you that beautiful, like just curlicue out. And you've got that curlicue that you can add in there. So we'll do that last then. So I'm going to add some glue to this leaf, and we're going to adhere this. Oh, it's so pretty. And just wrap that around your stamens. The beautiful thing about the wires is you can twist, you can move, and it's not set in stone, which is so beautiful, and I absolutely love that about this. So you've got these. I want to put in a leaf kind of in the center. So I'm going to have that popped. Let's see here. Okay, so there we go. So Belinda, you said something about maybe using others in the class would have shown. Yeah, actually, today in the class we've been using from a couple different sets. I'm so sorry that was not more clear. The set that we sold out of is the little teeny tiny ones, but I was using a lot from the Pastel Pollen Stamens. Those are right underneath the screen as well. We do have those in stock yet. And then we also used some of these today. So those are great. And then if you want to use some of the Rock Candy Stamens, those are very petite and narrow as well. And those have different color combinations. Like there's a really beautiful gold in there as well. So those are some different ones that you can use as well for those. So yes, so we were using from different packs today. So I'm sorry that was not clear to you. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and bring this leaf in on this side. It is like so rewarding to create this. It's just like you want to run around, jump up and down, show all your friends. And then we have the curlicue. Where did the curlicue go? Okay, so with the curlicue, you can also just glue in, or if you wanted to add it in with a wire, you totally could do that. I am just going to add that in right in here. Hang on a second while we stand by. I want that to be glued on without hot gluing my hand, if I can. Okay. That wants to kind of slide off a little bit. So I'm going to let the glue set, and then you can twist it around once that is done as well. So very, very good. Ta-da. Okay. So as you can see, when you are creating with this, you can go back and you can, pull these around. I'm going to lay that aside because that little spirally thing wants to move around right now. So you can, once that is dry, you can move that around how you want. And that is the beauty of creating a bouquet like this. So when you're creating these at home, you can go ahead and use the same concept with the other flowers to create the bouquet that we were making at the end of the class. Yes, Elizabeth has been, yes, a round of applause for Elizabeth and all the tips that you shared. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, so we started our journey together today with this beautiful floral that we ended with as well. Then we followed it up with our beautiful yellows. And then we had the green with the vellum, which is absolutely stunning. It's an elegant beauty, very simple to create with as well. And then we also have the beautiful pinks. The color combination of this is just stunning. You can also just do, small curly cues on top if you wanted to. I call them curly cues. I don't know what you call them, but that's what it reminds me of. Okay, so thank you, Janet. I would love to know what was your favorite tip that you learned today. I love that we get to spend creative time learning how to maximize our creativity with beautiful florals and creating bouquets. Now just remember, you can use these in bouquets, which is absolutely stunning. However, you can also use them on cards. So a lot of the flowers that we did today, so for those of you that were asking about the stamens, these are the pollen ones that we have in stock. Those are the ones that I have laying on the side. They're a little bit larger, longer, and they're called pastel pollen medium. So just so that it doesn't confuse you from the small ones that we had launched. Then here is the vellum ones that we were doing today. So this is also the vellum ones in gold, but it's using a yellow to color it instead of a green, which is super pretty. And then here is the exact same flower we did in those pinks, which is so, so beautiful, right? I know that one of you said the blue is so pretty. And so the color combinations you used were most interesting to you. Thank you, friend. Leslie said using the shaping tools. Thank you. Rachel said, thank you so much for sharing your top tips. This class has been absolutely amazing. Thank you, friend, for watching. Belinda said, thank you for helping to develop more confidence in flower making, not quite so intimidating. You hit the nail on the head, Belinda. That's the key to flower making. When you just sit down, stamp a bunch of those flowers in different colors on paper and on vellum and just have fun. Don't put any pressure on you. Your flowers will look different than mine. Your first flower will not look like your 10th flower, but you're going to have fun. And that's what creativity is all about, is having fun. It's not like how we were in high school and people critiqued, each other. No, that's not what this is about. It's about having fun. Crafting is therapy. And using these tips and techniques will allow you to really not only use them on these flowers, but also might spark some inspiration for some other flowers using these coloring tips and techniques and just having fun with it. And then adding them to your cards and your altar projects, making some beautiful bouquets. So before I leave today, I wanted to give you a sneak peek of the class that's coming up in February. If you are an insider member, you have automatic access to all of our online classes, and you have first access when new products launch, which means you have first dibs on Tuesdays on our website, and we ship in the order that we do our best to ship in the order that the orders were received. So it makes that you get your orders quickly, or that they leave our warehouse fast. So we have some ornate peacocks in the building that have been put in I Want It All bags, and they are patiently waiting their debut. They are absolutely stunning. So, so beautiful. Very versatile, and there is an amazing window. If you have not seen the sneak peek, I highly recommend that you go to the website, look at the sneak peek. Before we look at the projects that will be taught at the end of February. I'll give you the code one more time so you don't miss out on the shaping mold, which is a free shaping mold with a $50 purchase. The code is 814765. That expires on February 4th. So if you are not an Insider member, you do want to get your seat in that class. So you'll click on the links. You can go to heartfeltcreations.us, click on the class button. You can buy it for $30 or become an Insider member for $12.99 a month. You have automatic access to that class and all previous classes we've launched. So with that, are you ready to see this? Oh, one more thing. Yes, no, we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, I was just going to tell you something else yet, and I just want to kind of hang out some more. Okay, so we'll take a look at the class that is coming up at the end of February. Now, at the end of February, one thing that's going to be a little bit different is I will be out of town, so I am going to pre-record this online class. So the basic difference is I can't see your comments, but we will have somebody interacting with you in the comment section. So it will be very similar to the December class that we had. Crafters all over the globe watched it and had a great time with that. So this is an easel card. So we're going to be doing shaped easel cards using the dies that we launched at the end of January. So those beautiful slimline dies that launched last week. We're going to use those in the class as well. So you get kind of a double whammy on the ornate peacocks plus learning how to do these slimline dies on different easel cards, which is super, super pretty. We're going to learn how to color these peacocks beautifully with markers. I'm going to pull in some shading techniques as well with ink colors. And then we're also going to make these beautiful flowers, and the tails on these peacocks are stunning. And we're going to wrap it up in this class with an easel card that has a lighting fixture. So there is a lighting fixture hiding out behind here. When we light it up, this window is going to be all lit up and super, super pretty. Belinda said, I just got my slimline dies yesterday. Clarabelle said, you are so glad you're an Insider because you love the classes. You know what? And get the discounts. It is super smart being an Insider member because you don't have to make the decision every single month of like, do I, don't I, what do I do? That decision is already done, and you just automatically have access to all the benefits and perks anytime, night or day, that you want to utilize them, which is amazing. So with that, I cannot wait to have you learn the ins and outs of creating interactive easel cards using the Ornate Peacock Collection. We're going to be doing that on February 28th. If you can attend live, that would be amazing. If you can't, you can also watch it anytime after it has aired live at 1 p.m. on that day. Now, when it airs, we are going to do a pre-recorded version since I will be out of town when that class goes live. So let's see, is there anything? Oh, yes, I was going to tell you. We are heading right into February. February is the month of love, right? We are having a fun Valentine's Day event. So if you love the online classes, we have a fun event planned for you where throughout the day, different individuals, myself included, will come on, and we're going to be teaching segments, I think it's like from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be doing all things creative, art from the heart. We're going to do a little behind the scenes video. You don't want to miss it. If you missed the update and announcement on that, you can go to our Facebook page or catch it up on our emails on that as well. So thank you so much for joining today. Thank you for being part of the Heartfelt Creations crafting family. If you could do me a favor before you exit, you can leave a review and let us know what you loved about the class today. And you can do that by just clicking right underneath the link on this screen. When you do that, you will be entered to win a $100 shopping spree. You'll want to make sure you have that done and entered by February 4th. So I like to say just do it right away so you don't forget, and also take advantage of your free mold with a $50 purchase. That code again is 814765, expires on February 4th. If you're an Insider member, you get the free shipping. If you're in the U.S., International Crafting Friends get that 20% discount, and you get 20% discount on your shipping. Everybody gets 20% discount on their order when you're an Insider member. So thank you for being here today. Thank you, Chris. It's great to see your comments. With that, we will see you next time. We've got a whole lineup next week with
video demonstrations with the ornate peacock, so stay tuned to this space and we will see you then. I'll be back tomorrow with some things as well that I don't think you want to miss out on. So February 1st, tomorrow it's going to be at 1 p.m. So we'll see you then. Bye.